He's mad as a hatter taking the fight. The fight will end whenever Anthony Joshua wants the fight to end. He's getting a near career high payday. Thank you, Jake Paul and MVP, for the opportunity. How could we turn it down? I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's fight of the year. I'm not going to tell. I don't think it's. I'm the only person it's dangerous for is Jake Paul.
I got to give credit to Jake Paul. He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man, but he's making a lot of money. You know, I remember in the '90s, growing up, everybody was saying, "Would you get knocked out by Mike Tyson for $1 million?" And we all said yes. So this guy's probably gonna get knocked out, but he's making probably $50 million.
The warnings are growing louder as the countdown goes on, with only a few weeks left until the wildest fight of the year. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua blows up on the world stage. Joe Rogan recently chimed in with a serious breakdown, giving major props to Joshua's monstrous punching power and explaining exactly why this matchup could turn into a nightmare for Jake. He emphasized that Joshua hits with heavyweight force, the type of power that ends careers and changes fighters permanently. With the size gap, experience gap, and physical danger involved, Rogan thinks Jake might be walking into the most dangerous moment of his entire boxing life.
Problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that dude hits hard.
Ryan Garcia agreed with the Rogan assessment and took it even further by stating this fight could physically change Jake Paul forever. Ryan warned that Jake might suffer injuries impossible to repair fully because he's stepping into the ring with a natural heavyweight who has fought at the best in the world. He further elucidated that biology and physics do not get erased by confidence, and when Joshua catches him clean, it could be detrimental. Ryan's warning garnered huge attention online because he hardly ever speaks as candidly about fighter safety, yet here he made it sound like Jake is risking far more than just a loss on his record.
Yeah, man, my honest opinion, I think that this has been a misstep from Jake. I think he wanted to make his partners at Netflix a little too happy, and he's gonna walk into it. But look it, he loses to AJ. Where does he go from here? Who does he fight? You're gonna go back down to 135?
The problem is not that he loses to AJ. The problem is the way he's gonna lose to AJ might be life changing.
Right.
So that's the real issue.
It could be life changing in many ways, right? Physically.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn has already made it crystal clear that he views this whole matchup as a one-sided beatdown waiting to happen, a demolition that starts and ends when Joshua decides. He didn't mince any words, saying this fight is about Joshua showing his dominance, not struggling. The impression from Eddie's tone was that they consider Jake to be clearly outclassed in every single department: strength, speed, size, experience, and ring IQ. He made a point of underlining that Joshua is not preparing for a competitive game of chess, but rather, he is preparing to walk through Jake and remind the world what real heavyweight power looks like.
He's mad as a hatter taking the fight. The fight will end whenever Anthony Joshua wants the fight to end. He's getting a near career high payday. Thank you, Jake Paul and MVP, for the opportunity. How could we turn it down? I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's fight of the year. I'm not going to tell. I don't think it's. I'm the only person it's dangerous for is Jake Paul.
Hearn continued to add fuel to the fire when he said straightforwardly that this fight won't last long. As he claimed, they're trying to finish the whole thing before the 4th round, get home quickly and cash the check. He even described it as a simple business move, showing that they're treating Jake not as a real threat but as a ticket to high pay and global attention. Fans reacted strongly to Eddie's honesty. After all, he admitted forthrightly that they consider this to be a short and violent encounter, one for which they didn't need long tactical planning. Supporters of Jake were in a state of shock and couldn't believe how coolly Eddie was belittling him.
Respect the balls on the fella, but don't start talking to me about, is there anything in the contract where you have to take it easy? No. In fact, exactly the opposite. We're going to actually go in there and get this done in double quick time, destroy him, get on the plane, and then go home for Christmas.
Robert Garcia stepped in with a more comedic take but made his point clear. He said that while basically it is a given he gets knocked out, the man is still walking away with $50 million. So you can't hate on that. Robert reasoned that Jake's business sense is impressive because even a knockout loss becomes a massive payday. But he also repeated that the physical danger is real, and Jake is stepping into a situation where the outcome in the ring is almost certain. The money softens the blow, but not the punches.
I gotta give credit to Jake Paul. He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man. But he's making a lot of money. You know, I remember in the 90s growing up, everybody was saying, would you get knocked out by Mike Tyson for $1 million? And we all said yes. So this guy's probably gonna get knocked out, but he's making probably $50 million.
Jake Paul doesn't have that same fear or doubt though. He confidently outlined the advantages he feels he has over Joshua at the press conference and how he intends to exploit them. Jake spoke about his speed, conditioning, unorthodox movement, and unpredictable timing that will help him see through and possibly win. He tried to come off as the smarter and faster fighter, saying Joshua's power won't matter if he forces Joshua to fight at an uncomfortable pace. The implication in Jake's tone was that he actually believes he can draw this fight out into deeper rounds, or maybe even shock the world.
He's one of the best heavyweights ever, but I believe that fighting a smaller man is oftentimes harder as a heavyweight because of the speed difference and because of the foot speed, because of the angles, because of the head being off of the center. And so all of that power is great and he's knocked people out. I just have to avoid that one shot for 8 rounds, and I believe that I can do that. So when I'm bouncing around the ring, jabbing, weaving, and doing all of these things, I know I can pick them apart and score points and make this a very, very big contest.
Jake didn't stop there and went on to disclose his game plan in great detail, saying that as long as he sticks to the strategy and keeps disciplined movement, he won't have any problems at all. He spoke about using all sorts of footwork, angles, and constant feints to keep Joshua second guessing. As such, the whole fight, according to Jake, depends on whether he can keep elusive and avoid standing directly in front of the heavyweight monster. He made it sound like the key is just about remaining calm, staying mobile, and trusting the instructions he and his team have developed. His supporters seemed to appreciate the confidence, while many others among the fans wondered if movement alone is ever going to suffice.
But I'm ready for that. I'm prepared for that mentally, and I know that he has to deal with me as well. This is not as one-sided fight as people think, and I have power. I have the ability to put people to sleep, and so that's why I took this challenge. And I know it's crazy and all of that, but I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. My team's excited, and everyone believes in me, and that's all that matters.
Jake also gave fans a look into his future ambitions, saying once he wins this fight, he wants to go directly after Tyson Fury next. This did catch the media off guard, as Fury is an even larger and more skilled heavyweight than Joshua. Jake spoke of chasing greatness, building a historic resume, and proving everyone wrong. While the ambition is massive, many felt he was looking too far ahead considering the danger in front of him. Still, Jake insisted that beating Joshua is only one step on his path to face the biggest names in boxing.
Does any part of you relish the opportunity of perhaps ruining some big plans for AJ and the team in 2026?
Yeah, 100%. It's a massive mistake to look past this, seriously. I'm putting a stint in all of those plans. Don't book anything, don't arrange flights and hotels. I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing and changing the plans, and it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
During the press conference, Jake further tried to taunt Joshua by issuing threats and talking tough, but Joshua refused to take the bait. In return, Joshua fired back with even stronger words, stating he intends to physically disfigure Jake once they step inside the ring. His expression didn't change, nor did the tone of his voice. It sounded cold and real for that moment, not promotional at all. Joshua's message was simple. Jake's insults don't matter because once the bell rings, Joshua plans to shut him down in violent fashion. The intensity emanating from Joshua sent shockwaves through the crowd.
I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing and changing the plans, and it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to break his face, I'm going to break his body up, I'm going to stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality, and I know what's in my heart, I know what's in my mind, and I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do that until I finish fighting.
And then, things really took off when Joshua said he has been training with Team Usyk. where his preparation is fully supported. It came as a surprise to the fans because Usyk famously defeated Joshua on 2 occasions. Joshua, going back into that camp, certainly shows he's refining the weaknesses Usyk exposed. Training with one of the most technical teams in the world, Joshua is sharpening skill and strategy. It insinuated that Joshua was taking this fight very seriously and not taking Jake as a joke, but preparing with guidance at an elite level.
So no, I won't be trained by Ben Davison. I said that London's a bit distracting for me. So I was invited to train with Team Usyk. So I've been in Spain. We've been doing some good training out in Spain. And I think he's one of the best in the world. Not I think, he is one of the best in the world. And it's not all down to him, it's also down to his team that's around him. So I linked up with them, and getting an insight to how someone who's achieved so much has been phenomenal, man. It's been a great experience and it's very challenging.
Wow, I did not know that. So who will be your head trainer on the night?
Tommy Fury also chimed in, citing his own victory over Jake, and stated that if he, a natural light heavyweight, could defeat Jake, then Anthony Joshua would all but destroy him. Tommy made the case that the disparity in size alone makes the fight unsafe, adding that Joshua's power is on a different level altogether. He explained that Jake has never been hit by someone of Joshua's caliber, and the first clean punch could change the entire fight instantly. Tommy's perspective added a level of credibility, since he's one of the few people who have fought Jake directly.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f*** is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on, like you can't be serious. You can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
Hideo Oladipo echoed similar sentiments, believing Anthony will be able to look after Jake with ease and knock him out with very little effort. He said that in the case of this mismatch, size, experience, and technical skills create such a lethal combination that dragging this fight would carry the risk of injury. The thing is, Joshua has all the tools to end this fight early, and for the fans, they should not expect a long, grueling back-and-forth battle, but instead a sharp and brutal one.
I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be and should be easy work for AJ. Like, well, why are you going to turn down 100 million? AJ should and could, more should, knock out Jake Paul in a round. Like, if Jake Paul was over here fighting under our British Boxing Board of Control, I don't think it would be a Southern Area Cruiserweight champion. AJ is a former unified heavyweight champion of the world that I still believe is a top 10 heavyweight in the world. Like, AJ should be able to destroy him.
Dana White also chimed in, labeling the bout a horrible idea and stating that Jake should consider himself lucky if he comes out healthy. Dana stressed that this is no regular crossover fight. A big, hard-hitting heavyweight enters the ring with him. He said the damage could be serious, that Jake is playing with danger far beyond what the influencer boxing was ever supposed to entail. With Dana's warning, people started to reframe the entire fight as a high-risk, low-reward scenario for Jake's physical well-being.
Yeah, and did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Did you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
I know.
Jake Paul, Joshua.
Oh, Jesus. That's a f***ing bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what, a lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. Then I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Simon Jordan made much the same points and voiced his ire at the governing bodies who had allowed this fight to be sanctioned. He said, "It's just embarrassing to boxing in general that such a mismatched fight was even given the green light," adding that Jake is being put in unnecessary danger. Simon predicted demolition, wondering how regulators could clear their consciences on this matchup. His criticism wasn't about Jake, it was about the system that greenlit this matchup and ignored the obvious risks involved in it.
But does ultimately boxing get damaged?
Well, I think so. But I think boxing damages itself left, right and centre. But I think the reputability and the credibility of some of these boxing sanctioning bodies is poor anyway. But I think it does get damaged.
Even if it's an exhibition fight, which it might well be.
Well, then what's the jeopardy in that? If it's an exhibition fight, which it shouldn't be, if it's a proper fight, then Jake Paul is going to get demolished. He's going to get demolished.
And finally, Chael Sonnen ended the discussion by revealing that Ariel Helwani confirmed this fight is in fact a real, official boxing match and not an exhibition. As Chael explained, it means full rules, full power, and full consequences. No headgear, no light punches, no safety adjustments. This is huge because it actually brings into perspective the fact that Jake is jumping into a real heavyweight fight with all the danger attached to such a fight. Chael made it clear that Jake Paul is walking into a real professional bout against a man built to end fights brutally.
They must be going to do an exhibition. With that said, what are the rules going to be? Bigger gloves, just for example, 2-minute rounds, just for example. Like, what are the rules going to be? And while those two boys may go out there and fight, you can have a perception issue based on what the agreed rules for the exhibition are. And Errol said, no, Chael, you got this all wrong. He said that it's a straight up fight. It is sanctioned. There are no special rules. There are no special gloves.
Subscribe to get more fast-paced breakdowns, complete fight storylines, and expert opinions on the biggest matchups in combat sports.